Well, it seems there's someone else somewhere in North America who wants to see history preserved on modern locomotives, and what seem to be unauthorized paint jobs aren't just happening where I live in Georgia. We'll take a look at that and a couple of other blasts from the past next. Of course, like any railfanning adventure, before we can look at the artist's handiwork, we have to do a little waiting. It's December 16th, 2023, and our day begins in Atlanta at How Y. CSX and Norfolk Southern trains are arriving and departing this morning. Not far away, Norfolk Southern's Inman yard is alive with activity. Here's one grain train passing another. We'll catch up with one of those trains on down the line. And here's a bit of an oddity, a Kansas City Southern engine in the company's old Gray Ghost paint scheme. It's paired up with a Canadian Pacific unit. This is something we'll be seeing more and more with the CPKC merger. Meanwhile, this locomotive is not an oddity, it's just odd looking. An EMD ST60E with Norfolk Southern's custom crescent cab. Inman Yard is a busy place, and after around 20 minutes of waiting here, what we came to see is on the move. This is a loaded coal train headed all the way from the Powder River Basin in Wyoming to Georgia Power's plant shear in Juliet, Georgia. In the lead, BNSF 9653, and this thing is still wearing a Burlington Northern logo. Okay, let's get a second look at that logo. This does not look like it was applied at the paint shop. That being said, this is the logo that would have been here when the engine was brand new in 1995. I think we can all agree that the Burlington Northern logo is iconic, and the company's locomotives and rolling stock had a distinctive and eye-catching look. According to Logopedia, and yeah, that's a thing, the BN logo was designed by Lippincott and Margulies in 1956, but it didn't appear until the BN merger in 1970. A brand strategy and design company, Lippincott as it's now known, has produced all kinds of well-known logos, including Amtrak's pointless arrow. Amtrak eventually moved on from that logo, but Burlington Northern stuck with theirs until the BNSF merger. It's definitely an interesting design. You can see the B is in green and the N occupies the negative space. Okay, so only Burlington Northern, EMD ST70 Max, and the company's executive train got this special paint scheme. Of course, this was a huge departure from the vibrant Cascade green that had adorned other BN equipment for years. According to a Trains.com article, that Cascade green was supposed to represent forests and the timber industry, basically BN's territory and its customers respectively. That iconic green is a little faded on this one, but there's no doubt it was a BN locomotive. It's currently still in service on the Alabama and Tennessee River Railway. I caught it here in Attala, Alabama in February of 2024. Believe it or not, this thing was built way back in 1979. There's no doubt, the EMD ST40-2 is a resilient machine. Meanwhile, the color worn by the more modern ST70 Max was nicknamed Grinstein Green after company CEO Jerry Grinstein. He managed Burlington Northern from 1985 to 1995. Following the merger of Burlington Northern and Santa Fe in 1995, these units began to receive new Santa Fe-inspired logos on their noses. Some would eventually receive the latest iteration of the BNSF logo featuring a swoosh under the letters, while others would be sold by BNSF to leasing companies. This one still wears BNSF's Heritage 2 paint scheme, but is now owned by WFRX, or Wells Fargo Rail Corporation. It's being leased by Norfolk Southern. The unit was built in 1999. Okay, let's get back to the chase. We're now south of Inman Yard on the line that goes to Macon, Georgia. This train is led by one of Norfolk Southern's newly rebuilt AC-44 C6Ms. It's had its direct current traction motors swapped out for alternating current motors. Now, using AC traction motors really caught on with the EMD SD70 Mac, and Burlington Northern ordered quite a few of them. They were and still are great at pulling coal trains. Unfortunately, this train blocked another shot of this special SD70 Mac, but we'll catch up in a minute. If you want to learn more about the evolution of this locomotive type, check out the end screen of this video. Some of the most recent footage I was able to find of what I would describe as the prototypes for the SD70 Mac, known as SD60 Macs, is pretty bizarre. Alright, we're now at a spot the railroad calls Constitution. We'll have to wait for a few trains to pass here before we get another look at that homemade heritage unit.
Norfolk Southern, milepost 158.9, no defects.
Now, pretty much every Class 1 railroad has done some form of heritage unit at this point. Arguably, the engines done by BNSF were pretty underwhelming. They simply feature predecessor logos and text honoring the company's 25th anniversary. Of course, Norfolk Southern is well known for its 20 heritage units, but this is not one of them. It's decked out in the standard black and white. This shot was just practice for the star of the show today, which is now on the move again. I honestly can't say I've seen too many of these executive paint scheme SD70 Max leading trains. Well, that's probably because many of them still are not equipped with positive train control. I would actually catch one more train today. Well, that and this ballast cleaner with a modified old Southern Railway boxcar at the end. Let's face it, you never really know what kind of history you're going to find when you're trackside. Some of you have asked for more railfanning style videos, so hopefully you enjoyed this. Not being a West Coast or Midwestern rail fan, I don't know if there are any of these SD70 Max left with the original BN logo on the nose. Let me know in the comments if you've seen one. Anyway, that's it for now. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.